once again, and next up on my look at what Mastertronic produced on systems other than the Commodore 64, we're going to take a look at the BBC Micro, and the game I'm going to look at is Galactic Patrol. Right then, let's take a look at the packaging for this game, and as you can see, it's got some artwork on the front cover which is pretty bizarre. There's a kind of weird looking alien dude, looks a bit gormless. And there's a spaceship in the background there with the Galactic Patrol logo on the front. And that's pretty run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. As you can see from the spine, it is grid style packaging. Slight difference between this and the Commodore 64 is that they've chosen a purple colour to represent the BBC Micro and Electron, as you can see there. And on the back we've just got a little bit of information about the game. Pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. Commander of a starfighter, transporting colonists, blah blah blah. Keyboard only, which is a hallmark of BBC Micro games generally speaking. And taking a look inside, we've got the screenshots. Looks to be some kind of into the screen shoot 'em up, but then there's also these screenshots lower down, something going on a planet's surface as well. So some slight variation to the levels there. And if we move inside, we've got the usual stuff, aim of the game, different phases, which presumably the different levels, and the controls. Standard BBC Micro controls there, Z and X for left and right, and colon and slash for up and down. It says space to begin game and to start the next level. No mention of what you use to fire, so that'll be an interesting experiment. You must have to use fire for something because there's aliens to shoot and so on. So there you go, and it's also got the loading instructions, which I won't be following because I've got all these games loaded onto an SD card on my BBC Micro, so I can get it loaded pretty quickly. Okay, so I've loaded up my SD card and there's Galactic Patrol at the top of the list, so let's load it up. And you get this nice title screen with a Mastertronic-esque grid style sort of thing going on, a little tune playing. And then you get a page full of instructions, which are just a copy of the instructions inside the tape case, so for your benefit there they all are. And then you press space to continue, and it loads up the main program and makes a really annoying beeping sound, which is thankfully now gone. Okay, so the first stage, you get these little guys running across the bottom of the screen there, trying to get into the spaceship. You've got to protect them by shooting the aliens that are trying to kill them or kidnap them or whatever it is that they're trying to do. So let's give it a go. So you basically control the crosshairs, which you can see there, which shoots the aliens and moves really, really slowly. As you can see at the top there, it tells you how many guys are left to walk across the bottom of the screen and how many you've got in there safe. Makes an interesting little sound. Oh, blimey, that's over already. That was quick. So that was the first level over. I didn't do particularly well there. I think most of them got kidnapped, and that does influence the value of the amount of shields you've got left. For the second stage, what is nice about this game, I will say straight away, is that you have to press space to start each level. So if you need to explain how the next level works, like I'm doing now, you can just leave it until you press the space bar. So on this level, you basically got to protect the spaceship that you've just been loading people into by shooting the aliens. Obviously the idea is that the shields need to maintain a level of some kind. So there's my little spaceship that I've got to protect, and this is me controlling the thing in the middle of the screen. So there's it's kind of a 3D-ish into the screen kind of thing. Sound effects are a bit basic, especially the explosions of the spaceships. I think, to be honest, the tactic here should really just be to sit at the bottom and just move left and right and just zap things as they come into your flight path. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but the lasers go up the screen slightly, so you've got to shoot slightly ahead of yourself, which makes it quite difficult. It's very precise. But it's pretty straightforward, this level, once you get to grips with it. Again, like the crosshairs on the first level, the spaceship moves really slowly around the screen, which is why I think it's better just to sort of stay based at the bottom. Okay, so that was the second level done. The third phase is to dock with the spaceship, which seems remarkably easy. All you got to do is land on it, and then it disappears, and that's it. That was that level done. Haven't failed that one as yet. This one's a little bit more tricky. It says avoid fleet force walls. So there's this red thing that's trying to kill you, that homes in on you, and there's also, when I start the level, these green things, sort of green walls hurtling towards you, so you've got to dodge all them, which is quite tricky. The red thing's the most difficult thing to dodge, so you have got to keep moving. The control of the ship's pretty accurate with the keys. It's just that it moves so damn slowly, and I crashed, and that's game over. So I got 625, which is an interesting score. So I'll go through it again and see if I can get past that level this time. So just to say about the first level again, the graphics are not bad. I mean, the graphics for the building on the left are pretty naff, as are the ones for the mountains, but the overall graphics aren't too bad, with the little men marching across the bottom of the screen. The aliens home in quite nicely. One thing I didn't mention is you can't shoot when the crosshairs at the bottom of the screen, so you can't shoot your own men, which means you've got to get the aliens before they get too close, which I'm not doing particularly well at. And there we go, that's that level done. As you can see, I saved a few more that time, and so my shield level's a bit higher this time. This sound's getting very high pitched now, which I'm hoping means I'm near the end of the level. There doesn't seem to be any kind of indication. Ah, there we go. So the final level is to dock with the spaceship again to deliver the passengers. So here we go, and again, it doesn't seem overly difficult, this one. And I've done it, and that was the end of the game effectively, and it basically just repeats itself ad infinitum. So there's a few more people to save this time, there's a few more things to shoot, and the difficulty goes up a bit. So that pretty much sums up the game. I will carry on playing while I round up by saying that the one thing that this game's really crying out for is a trackball, because controlling the cursor and the spaceship on the later levels with the keys is really difficult because they're so digital in nature, the keys. It's really difficult to do diagonals and move around the screen quickly. That said, it's not a bad game. I've never played it before on the BBC Micro before doing this review, and it's not too bad at all. You know, for a $1.99 budget game, and so I'd say it's worth the $1.99 definitely for the BBC Micro, which didn't have that many games like this that I can remember. The other thing I should mention about it is that, as I mentioned, the cursor moves really slowly, so even just having a joystick and a faster cursor would make it a better game. So for that reason, I wouldn't have minded seeing this on the Commodore 64. I think there could have been some better music, obviously, sound effects, and the graphics could have been improved slightly, and with the use of a joystick instead of a keyboard, it could make for quite a decent game. So yeah, this is one that perhaps slipped through the net as a possible good game for the Commodore 64. That said, I think that's probably enough, so we'll round it up there. Next time up, we'll be looking at an Amstrad game.